You know that feeling when you're lying awake at night, replaying a past failure over and over in your head. The one that still resonates with you, even years later. I do. I've been there too. And I'm guessing you're not alone in your struggles. What if I told you that failure isn't something to be ashamed of? What if it's actually an opportunity for growth, a chance to learn and become a better version of yourself? It's a radical idea, I know, but bear with me. As someone who's struggled with the weight of failure, I've come to realize that it's not the failure itself that's the problem, it's how we respond to it. What if we could see setbacks as stepping stones to success rather than roadblocks? That's exactly what we're going to explore in this video. We'll delve into the Stoic principles for reframing failure and discover mindset shifts that can help you cultivate resilience. You'll learn how to reframe failure as a valuable learning experience and how to use that knowledge to propel yourself forward. So, if you're ready to break free from the weight of shame and guilt and start seeing failure as an opportunity for growth, then let's get started. Spending hours replaying past failures can be a heavy burden. But what if we told you that failure is not something to be ashamed of, but rather an opportunity for growth and self-improvement? This is a core principle of Stoicism, a school of thought that emphasizes reason, resilience, and self-awareness. At its core, Stoicism is about embracing life's uncertainties and imperfections. The concept of amor fati, or loving one's fate, encourages us to accept and even find joy in the present moment, rather than resisting or fearing what's to come. This mindset shift allows us to see failure not as a setback, but as a stepping stone to growth. Imagine, for a moment, that you're standing at the edge of a cliff, looking out at a vast expanse of unknown terrain. You can choose to be paralyzed by fear, or you can take a deep breath and step forward, trusting that the path ahead will reveal itself. This is the essence of Stoic philosophy, embracing the unknown and finding strength in uncertainty. One powerful tool for reframing failure is negative visualization. This involves imagining the worst-case scenario, not to dwell on it, but to prepare for it. By visualizing potential failures, we can build resilience and develop a growth mindset. We can ask ourselves, what would I do if this happened? Or, how would I respond if faced with this challenge? Self-awareness and self-acceptance are also crucial in this process. By acknowledging our emotions and thoughts, we can begin to let go of shame and guilt. We can recognize that failure is a natural part of growth, and that it's not a reflection of our worth as individuals. In the next section, we'll explore the dangers of shame and guilt, and how they can hold us back from learning from our mistakes. But for now, let's take a moment to reflect on the idea that failure is not something to be feared, but something to be learned from. By embracing this mindset, we can begin to see failure as a catalyst for growth, rather than a source of shame. Shame and guilt can be like toxic fog that settles over us, making it hard to breathe, think, or move forward. When we're consumed by these emotions, we can become trapped in a cycle of self-doubt and decreased motivation. We start to question our worth, our abilities, and our decisions. We replay past mistakes in our minds, reliving the pain and regret. The negative effects of shame and guilt on our mental health are well documented. Chronic exposure to these emotions can lead to anxiety, depression, and even post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. We become more sensitive to criticism, more prone to self-blame, and more likely to avoid challenges altogether. But here's the thing, shame and guilt are not the same as self-awareness. Self-awareness is about recognizing our flaws and weaknesses, acknowledging our mistakes, and learning from them. Shame and guilt, on the other hand, are about beating ourselves up over those same flaws and weaknesses. They're about dwelling on our mistakes, replaying them in our minds, and using them as evidence of our inadequacy. So, how do we break free from the grip of shame and guilt? How do we cultivate self-compassion and self-forgiveness? The answer lies in self-acceptance, the willingness to accept ourselves, flaws and all, without judgment or condition. When we practice self-acceptance, we begin to see our mistakes as opportunities for growth, rather than as evidence of our worthlessness. This doesn't mean we ignore our mistakes or pretend they didn't happen. Rather, we acknowledge them, learn from them, and use them as stepping stones to success. We recognize that failure is an inevitable part of growth, and that it's often the best teacher we'll ever have. By acknowledging and learning from our mistakes, we can begin to reframe failure as a learning experience, rather than as a source of shame and guilt. We can start to see that every setback is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become a better version of ourselves. And that's a truly empowering perspective. Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, is famously quoted as saying, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This mindset shift is a powerful example of reframing failure as a learning experience. When we focus on what we can learn from a setback, we begin to see it not as a source of shame, but as an opportunity for growth. Take, for instance, J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series. She was a single mother living on welfare when she began writing her books. She faced rejection after rejection, but instead of giving up, she used each failure as a chance to learn and improve. Today, she's one of the most successful authors in the world. Reframing failure requires us to focus on what went wrong, rather than beating ourselves up over it. This is where post-mortem analysis comes in, examining what went wrong and what we can do differently next time. By taking responsibility for our actions and acknowledging our mistakes, we can begin to see failure as a stepping stone to success. It's not about being perfect, it's about being willing to learn and grow from our mistakes. As the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act but a habit. By reframing failure as a learning experience, we can cultivate the habit of excellence and achieve our goals. When we're faced with failure, it's natural to feel overwhelmed and unsure of how to move forward. But what if we told you that there are practical strategies to help you reframe failure and turn it into a stepping stone to success? One of the most effective ways to calm your mind and body is through grounding techniques. The 5-4-3-2-1 method. Take a moment to notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This helps you focus on the present moment and let go of worries about the past or future. Name your thought technique. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, try to reframe them by giving them a name. For example, I'm thinking I'm a failure again. This helps you acknowledge your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Journaling can be a powerful tool for releasing thoughts and emotions. Try setting aside a few minutes each day to write down your thoughts, feelings, and feelings. This can help you process your emotions and gain clarity on what's holding you back. Cognitive diffusion techniques can help you detach from negative thoughts and emotions. Notice your thoughts without judgment. When you catch yourself thinking negative thoughts, try to notice them without judgment. Say to yourself, I'm thinking I'm a failure again. That's just a thought. Use metaphors. Try using metaphors to reframe negative thoughts. For example, my thoughts are like clouds in the sky. They come and go, but they don't define me. Practice self-compassion. Treat yourself with kindness and compassion, just as you would a close friend. Say to yourself, I'm doing the best I can, and that's enough. Mindfulness meditation can help you cultivate a sense of calm and clarity. Try setting aside a few minutes each day to meditate, either with a guided recording or on your own. Focus on your breath and let go of distractions. Sometimes, it's helpful to set aside dedicated time to worry and process your emotions. Try setting a timer for 10-15 minutes and focusing on your thoughts and feelings during that time. This can help you release pent-up emotions and gain clarity on what's holding you back. What can I learn from this experience? How can I use this experience to improve my skills and knowledge? What would I do differently next time? Meet Sarah, a young entrepreneur who faced a major setback when her business failed. Instead of giving up, Sarah chose to reframe her failure as a learning experience. What can I learn from this experience? How can I use this experience to improve my skills and knowledge? What would I do differently next time? Sarah's business may have failed, but she didn't let that hold her back. She used her experience to launch a new business, one that was even more successful than the first. Today, Sarah is a successful entrepreneur who has turned her failures into stepping stones to success. By using these practical strategies, you can turn your failures into stepping stones to success. Remember, failure is not the end, it's just a new beginning. Embracing imperfection and uncertainty is a journey, not a destination. It's a mindset shift that requires us to let go of the need for perfection and instead find comfort in the beauty of impermanence. This concept is rooted in the Japanese philosophy of wabi-sabi, which celebrates the imperfections and imperfections of life. Imagine a delicate teacup with its subtle cracks and imperfections. To the untrained eye, it may seem flawed, but to those who understand wabi-sabi, it's a testament to the impermanence of all things. The cup's imperfections are a reminder that nothing lasts forever, and that it's the imperfections that make it unique and beautiful. In our pursuit of perfection, we often forget that imperfection is a natural part of life. We strive for flawless relationships, and flawless outcomes. But what if we were to let go of this need for perfection? What if we were to see imperfection as an opportunity for growth, rather than a source of shame? The concept of impermanence is closely tied to the idea of uncertainty. Nothing is permanent, and everything is subject to change. This can be both liberating and terrifying. But what if we were to see uncertainty as a chance to adapt to the ever-changing circumstances of life? Embracing imperfection and uncertainty requires us to be more present, to be more mindful of the present moment. It requires us to let go of our attachment to outcomes and instead focus on the process of living, of growing, and of learning. When we let go of the need for perfection, we open ourselves up to new experiences, to new relationships, and to new opportunities. We become more resilient in the face of uncertainty and imperfection. We become more compassionate towards ourselves and others. So, how can we start embracing imperfection and uncertainty? By acknowledging that imperfection is a natural part of life. By recognizing that uncertainty is a chance to adapt and grow. By letting go of our attachment to outcomes and instead focusing on the process. In the next section, we'll explore a guided visualization that will help you visualize failure as a stepping stone to growth. But for now, take a deep breath and let go of the need for perfection. Let go of the need for certainty. And instead, find comfort in the beauty of imperfection and uncertainty. Spending hours rewriting a simple email shows the power of overthinking. It drains your energy and saps your creativity. You end up feeling stuck. When our minds spin on endless loops, we experience more than just frustration. We face cognitive fatigue, where each new thought feels heavier. We also encounter decision fatigue, where even trivial choices become overwhelming. Over time, this constant mental churning can trigger anxiety, depression, and even disrupt our sleep. We go to bed exhausted, yet the moment our head hits the pillow, our thoughts ramp up, refusing to let us rest. It's a vicious cycle. The more tired we are, the harder it is to think clearly, and the more likely we are to overthink. What's worse is the effect on our relationships and creativity. When we're trapped in our own heads, we're not fully present for loved ones. Conversations feel rushed or incomplete because we're too busy rehearsing what we should say next. This mental fog also smooths creativity. Brainstorming sessions turn into endless second-guessing, and we lose that spark of inspiration under the weight of overanalysis. Meanwhile, paralysis by analysis robs us of opportunities. We might hesitate to take a leap, like submitting a project proposal or sharing a bold idea, because we're too busy scrutinizing every possible outcome. In doing so, we miss out on real-world growth while waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect words. But here's the hopeful twist. Awareness is the first step toward change. When we recognize how overthinking drains us, we also start seeing how to break free from it. That email we've been polishing for hours. Sometimes, clicking send, despite the lingering doubts, is exactly what unlocks our next move forward. This isn't about being reckless or ignoring caution. It's about releasing the iron grip of endless thought loops. By pausing and acknowledging the cost on our minds, our hearts, and our potential, we open the door to healthier ways of thinking. And that's precisely what we'll explore next: how trying to force our thoughts to stop can backfire and what to do instead. Now, let's take a moment to visualize a different scenario. Imagine yourself facing a setback, a failure, or a disappointment. It might be a missed opportunity, a failed project, or a relationship that didn't work out. Allow yourself to fully immerse in this feeling, to feel the weight of it, the disappointment, the frustration. As you breathe in, imagine this feeling entering your body, like a wave washing over you. As you breathe out, imagine it slowly releasing, like the tide going out to sea. Allow yourself to feel the emotions, to acknowledge them, and to let them be. Now, imagine this failure, this setback, as a stepping stone to growth. See it as an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. Imagine the lessons you can learn from this experience, the skills you can develop, and the wisdom you can gain. As you continue to breathe, imagine yourself returning to your breath, to the present moment. Feel the sensation of your feet on the ground, the sensation of the air on your skin, and the sensation of your heart beating in your chest. Allow yourself to come back to the present, to let go of the past and the future, and to simply be. Remember, failure is not something to be ashamed of. It's an opportunity for self-improvement. It's a chance to learn, to grow, and to become stronger. So take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, repeat to yourself, "I am strong, I am capable, and I am worthy of growth and learning." Reframing failure as a learning experience is a powerful mindset shift. It allows us to see setbacks as opportunities for growth, rather than as sources of shame and guilt. By embracing this perspective, we can cultivate self-compassion and self-forgiveness, and develop the resilience to navigate life's challenges. Throughout this journey, we've explored Stoic principles for reframing failure, including the importance of self-awareness and self-acceptance. We've also discussed the dangers of shame and guilt, and how they can lead to self-doubt and decreased motivation. We've seen how successful individuals have reframed failure as a learning experience, and how they've used Stoic tools like mindfulness and negative visualization to reframe their thinking. We've also explored practical strategies for reframing failure, including grounding techniques, journaling, and cognitive diffusion. As we conclude this journey, remember that healing takes time. Be kind to yourself as you work through your own struggles with failure. Don't be too hard on yourself when you make mistakes. Instead, use them as opportunities to learn and grow. The goal isn't to avoid failure, but to learn from it. By embracing this mindset, you'll be better equipped to navigate life's challenges and come out stronger on the other side. So, take a moment to reflect on how you've reframed failure in your own life. What strategies have worked for you? What challenges have you faced? Share your story with us in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, help us reach more awesome people like you by hitting the like button and subscribing. It really makes a difference. Thanks, and see you in the next one.